the events of not too We're not going to open with TOS first thing.
It's actually not TOS. So you're aware.
Oh, fun. Well, I'm aware that, like, actually no, because that'll clue people into the conversation. I won't bring up a previous Twitch incident. Not with us. There been no face night?
No face tonight.
Hey, thank you, dear, for the Prime subscription.
I pay for the Prime subscription on Amazon. I may as well use it.
Yeah, and give me the money for it. Like, it's a win-win.
Stealing money from Jeff Bezos' pocket. They're not his anymore, since he's not CEO
not anymore.
Yes, he's not CEO. He's just one of the high executive chairs, totally not benefiting on the company
of course.
whatsoever. We have a hype train coming.
Yo.
You know what you guys had to do? All 4 of you had to sub, follow, donate. Where'd the hype train come from? That's super weird.
That's what happens when like multiple people
subscribing 3 times in a row.
Hello, Hezla.
Yes,
Welcome to the hype train. The hype train is actually a fantastic bit of technology for Twitch. It improves your donations by 30%.
It was the funniest thing. I was watching a stream and someone was like, all right, well, I think it's about time for an ad. I'm thinking a full minute one. While I like do this, it's like, and if you don't want to watch it, I guess you should subscribe. If you got a free Twitch Prime, and like, not actually doing it, but was like, holy shit, it's like 200 at once. Because somebody wants to watch the ad.
That's how you do it.
So he's like, oh, that was so scummy. I'm so sorry. I didn't think that would actually do something.
Who was it? I can't remember. There was a really popular YouTube or Twitch streamer a while ago who for a time had the highest tier 3 sub count on Twitch. All because on Twitter he posted this silly video of like this Asian guy gonna be like, what kind of beta ass doesn't do a tier 3 sub to this guy, pointing up. And it was just like a GIF, and it just kept happening over and over, and it just spread around, and so many people tier 3 sub. He became the highest tier 3 subber on Twitch.
I've learned a lot of things
Crazy.
over my just exposure to the internet. And that's like people will spend a lot of money for a meme, me included. I am not exempt from this. I've done this.
Yep. That's why when I get rich and famous, I need a literal meme department to get that extra revenue.
Just be like everybody else. Just steal from Tumblr, to steal from Twitter, to steal from Reddit, to steal from Facebook, to steal from Tumblr, and so it goes.
Yep. I need a crack team of memers working round the clock.
Ridiculous. The meme sweatshop.
The meme sweatshop. That's what Discord is for.
Gotta work hard to keep them in line because they all have like a 5-second attention span.
And every time I make like a quick meme for you guys, Cameron just makes fun of my Photoshop, so you're not getting anything from me. It's not like memes are intentionally shitty or anything.
But yeah, so the internet is such a strange place. You can make money in the strangest ways.
No,
Please,
no puns.
no puns.
That's Alex and Devin's thing. Cameron and I exclusively hate puns.
Alright, my stream deck seems
To the
be
point,
working.
if no one laughs at your joke or your pun, you lose an experience point.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
it would help
Alex is here, so Devin gets away with it.
Yeah, because Alex
I'm
is
easy to
legally
That's all
ditched.
things should be.
I'm easy to entertain.
There have been a few times where somebody said something funny enough that they got an experience point, though.
Yes.
It happens. You know. Shoot enough times into a barrel, you're bound to hit one of the fish, I suppose.
Don't say that to Arthur. Arthur will go 10 shots. I can have better chances.
Except for Alex, like puts his mouth to the barrel. It's just like fire.
I am Devin's like pun safety net.
A bit.
Just mute it. As soon as Devin makes a joke, kick Alex from the Discord. Get invited back afterwards.
Shit, Alex broke the fuck up yesterday just because I was just like, wait, Nikos can just make another Rogel and then have him use his spells. And Alex thought that was the funniest thing.
I didn't.
Don't make us get a cow. We're eventually just gonna have to get a cow emote just to fuck with you.
We were actually discussing that, and I realized there's arguments for Nikos doing that, and then arguments against Nikos doing that. Like, equally.
Yay, we get the tier 1 train emote now. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you.
Baby emote.
The baby emote. Hey, but for someone who gets normally 4 or 5 viewers, that's a strong emote.
Obviously, because we have a winning community here.
Exactly.
Join us, please.
Speaking of a winning community, did you guys know you can join the Bad Luck
Alex.
Gamer Discord?
Please help.
I don't even have to sell out myself. My friends will sell out for me. Anywho, y'all ready to be molested by vampires?
No.
No.
You leave Serena out of this.
Unfortunately, she's the biggest target of them all.
I will use ground control and swallow this entire like house. Just in a pit.
The fall of the Amorose house.
Literally.
Except Sebastian wouldn't.
They made me analyze another painting. I was done.
It was my breaking point. Let Lucanor know that's the torture methods they should be using. That's how they punish the their child soldiers. Instead of killing them off, just make them critique artwork.
Studying art, that won't make me more powerful. Crush.
So, brief recap of the last session, which was 2 weeks ago at this point. You guys were molested by beer cat, blue bud vampires in their home. Sebastian has been I don't even know what to call the target of such behavior. It's like when your friend knows you have a crush on someone, and so you do everything you can to get that person to notice them as much as possible.
Yeah.
And Sebastian
very
is
middle
the
school.
direct line of fire of this.
But he doesn't understand like what's going on.
Serena has been very hotly demanded by many of the members of House Amorose before eventually being whisked off by Brenadine, oldest daughter to Beau Amorose.
I'm in danger.
I mean, not really. You've been let go since then.
Yeah. I meant just in
don't
general.
talk back.
In
If
general,
she
yeah.
asks a question, don't answer.
But worst of all, Jacques has been singled out by Tristaval and was just deadpan asked in the middle of working, "Have you ever killed someone? I smell very familiar blood on you." And then you've been directed to go to Tristavel's office.
Yep.
Oh, another thing that should not be ignored as well. Anastasia, I almost said Anas. Anastasia has been talking with his older brother and unfortunately had to give over the family crest ring. After a very serious talk about what he should do and his expectations being a member of House Serban.
We stand a spine, slowly but surely.
But we're just going to cut right into the action. We're going to jump to Jacques being taken to Tristavel's office.
Fuck. Alright.
In all fairness, I think this is the one scene I've been most hyped for, is finding out what the heck's going on.
For real, yeah.
Nah, it's fine. We're good. We're good. We're gonna walk in, and then he's immediately gonna switch scenes to just keep everybody guessing a little bit longer, right? Right? Alright. Wrong.
Just in case, don't forget your buffs.
I'm aware I'm armored. I can also teleport, but I'd really rather not have to give away the magic armor or the teleportation or the fact that I have a venomous bloodline, but I think it's going to be a bit late for that with his...
So you're marched up to the 3rd level of the mansion. Taken into an office, which is... it's an office, you know, there's some books in the background, some various
Iron Maiden coffee table.
not quite. But there is like decorative blades on the wall, as well as a banner for House Amoros, which is not something you've seen anywhere else in the house. It's very strange. But he motions for you to enter into the room.
Not exactly spoiled for choice. He does.
And as he shuts the door, you can hear a click that sends your heart straight down into your stomach. The room smells relatively clean. The window is currently covered by black curtains. And the only real light source is an oil lamp on the desk. That gives this room this eerie shadowing.
It was Tristobal in the office with his fangs.
Though, after a moment, Tristobal walks over to the window, grabs the curtain and pulls it half open and ties it off with a thick, braided cord, letting in a bit more natural light and giving the room a lot less of an eerie glow. And when he's done, his hand just kind of drops to his side. And he turns to look at you, and he is very serious.
Oh, Doc is too.
What do you know of House Kyrian?
He kind of immediately just slight furrow the brow as he thinks. He just shakes his head slowly. Nothing.
He looks you over. I find that hard to believe. There are few scents of blood I would forget. Most of which is not House Kyrian.
I'm afraid I have never heard the name.
Oh, but you have. In fact, you have a particular item from House Kyrian.
He doesn't know.
It was told to you by, you guys asked,
Hell Knight.
Hell Knight, who gave you guys information on it. As he's an occultic master.
I don't remember being told who it's from, or that it was like, or what it was used for. Because I know we read it, but...
No, it was what Hell Knight told you.
Okay. Alright, well, in that case, no, I'm not about to fucking lie to this dude. Pauses for a moment, a hand drifts up with an aside motion. Says, perhaps an item of them, but I've never met any member of the house or know much of them. I don't know why you would smell anything.
You know. He turns and walks over to his desk. Some members of House Kyrian had a peculiarity. The blood had a toxicness to it. Victor Kyrian was a particularly harsh man who was very well known for his brutality. And an individual that I had had many encounter with in my years of being pariah. I cannot forget the acridness of his blood. That so was interwoven with the blood of so many other on his hands. You're telling me that you've heard of him, but you don't know why you have this distinct smell about you.
His eyes kind of slide off to the side. Anything I am familiar with. I know of no connection to such an individual or their line. I am certainly not like your kin.
He turns towards you with a much more darkness to him. He tries to read you over. What are you doing here? You are obviously no mere plebeian. What is your connection to the 11 Bloodhouses?
Do we know who all is included in the 11 Bloodhouses?
No, you guys have gotten very little information. The only ones you guys have heard about is House Kyrian.
Then he sighs. The passing mention of Karen is the only one I've ever heard of.
You
I
did
did
not
not
answer.
write personally met.
You did not answer my question. What are you doing here?
Cameron?
Yes.
Fuck you. He's the worst one.
He's not the worst one. He's up there, but he's not the worst.
No, I meant Doc, not Tristobal.
Oh, that's
I know he's not Donovan.
doubly fair.
Oh god, it's so difficult.
Alright, then I'll show you a slight mercy here. We're gonna cut to someone else for the time being and let you stew
Oh,
on what
no.
you need to think about.
Fuck.
So, whilst this is happening, we're gonna cut to Anastasia coming in from your training and heading in after your somewhat serious talk with your brother.
Goes to his room, puts the blade away. After cleaning it off, of course, from any scuff marks he may have given it.
Cleaning the blade, you definitely, for the first time I think ever, notice just how unlike a House Sorbonne weapon it is. The weapon is big, incredibly heavy. The metal is, over the course of the years, slowly begun to dent, pock, and erode away. Much so that the blade is more blunt than it is anything sharp. With the rusted chain on it, it's a very unelegant weapon. But it's yours. And of everything currently residing within House Sorbonne, this is truly the only thing that's only yours and doesn't belong to the Sorbonne name.
After he's done cleaning, he sets it against a wall and just sits on the edge of his bed, just pondering, staring at the blade. And he does this for a little bit before sign getting up. And if his brother's still in the house, he's gonna let him know he's just gonna go on a walk about the town.
Okay. As you're about to go out, your mother catches you. Oh, and us. We've gotten word from Lord Rosencratz. There's going to be a dinner tomorrow evening between the three houses.
Okay. Are all expected to attend?
I'm sure House Amoros won't be having all of their deviants coming. But your father would like you to go. And considering that you're still on break from your services, you could definitely help represent our house while we maintain the city defense.
Of course.
Then it'll be yourself, me, your brother Laurenteve, and Trey.
Just like eyebrow raise at the mention of the word tray. He doesn't say anything though.
She seems to know, but she just breathes and sighs. Anyway, do your best to have your clothes ready and to be on your best behavior. I'm sure there might be some awkwardness with Radovan after your capture of him, but if he is truly a noble of House Rosencratz, I'm sure he can look beyond this.
Unfortunately, we will have to wait and see until the dinner. I hope he doesn't. I hope he doesn't take it too harshly, though. We are still family in some sense.
It's true. You're cousins, after all. Still, she looks you over. You've grown so serious in us. I mean, you were always so serious before, but I don't know. There's just a level of maturity about you. I don't know how to feel. It feels like my little boy is growing up. She embraces you tightly.
He returns the hug.
It's a loving embrace, and your mother, who is quite tall, your head rests pretty much at her bosom as she leans down and gently kisses the top of your head. She says, "It's so hard to watch you all grow up. Your sister grew up much too quickly. I was hoping you two would stay the same." But, she says as she lets you go, you need to grow up. And it does not do justice to a knight of House Serban to be mother hand over.
I do appreciate the worry and concern. I'm sorry I made you worry for as long as I did.
I mean, it wasn't so long. Just a few weeks.
Still, that's still too long.
It's more heartbreaking to know that you were out in the world. That's a harsh place. The mortals are so unforgiving to those who are different from them. I don't care what Radovan thinks. I believe that they have their place and we have ours.
True. But I have come across some humans in my travels that were different. I don't know if they were just the rare ones, but they stood out compared to everyone else that seemed to shun everything different from them. They themselves were different and in turn shunned. Maybe there are some out there who are outcasts among their own kind.
I'm sure. But mortals are like breeds of animal, large litters, you know. 7 pups, all different colors, all different varieties, no two the same. But the problem is that even if some are nice, they're all still wolves. Humans are much the same. There are some, I am sure, who are good people, who would embrace us and welcome the differences. But I'm sure the numbers of opposition would be much higher. And for us, there's nothing we can do to defend ourselves. They breed in such number that we can't possibly hope to keep up with this war of attrition if they decided to besiege us. Plus, you've seen how they've waged wars. You've read the books. Dying by the hundreds or thousands. At least us Patella know that after a few family members have died, it's good to call the war. We would never sacrifice in such absurd numbers.
True. But in all fairness, humans live much shorter lives and, in a sense, produce so much more than our kind does. Well, think of it this way. They produce a lot. It makes sense they would cut their numbers larger because they don't see size as a problem in comparison. They see many more lives are easily lost because they can just create more. Where with us, we value all the life that comes into our kind.
That just sounds brutish to me. Look,
Yeah.
I would not deny you that some are good. And in a perfect world, there could be more coexistence. But we do not live in a perfect world. And for everyone that would take our hands, another will cut off our heads. We can't take those losses.
He nods, doesn't say anything.
I'm sorry. I know the last thing you want to talk about is your travels. You just wish to relax, and I'll respect that. I'm just glad you're home with us. She kisses your head one more time before turning off. Remember, we must not keep the Lord waiting tomorrow. Be prepared when you're best.
He waits for her to walk off. Pauses to think for a minute, goes back to his room, grabs his currency, looking at the gold Aryan rings before putting those to the side. And he decides to go wander in the town to look and see if he can find a good quality shirt. See if the humans have higher standards, since Radovan's fixed the place up a bit. And maybe to find a blacksmith.
Okay. As you go and do that, we return to Jacques in his current predicaments. Unless you feel like you need more time. There's others I can torture.
It's just like, I don't want to like ruin it for everybody if I misstep too bad. I know you know what you're doing, but
Sometimes failure happens and the rebound is more important.
Yep. No, if we need to move to this before we can move on, I'll do it.
Alright. Sounds like you're ready.
I wouldn't say that. I'm just gonna have to Alex it.
Ready, resigned, one or the other.
We'll go with the latter.
So we return to Jacques, being stared down by Chisteval.
Have some more inelegance eye, but after a moment of thought, he straightens back up. And City Rosencratz is in a unique situation. It has changed a lot in the absence of its lords and at the manipulations of one. Trade with Gabriel has brought it into more modern times. And despite living in a place like Mott, constantly assailed by specters, demons, and the sort, it is unique. It is a place that offers shelter in a way no one else does. Because of the younger Rosencratz.
His expression changes, as this doesn't seem to be what he was expecting. His posture lightens up slightly. That would make sense. Your canter and your posture, your voice definitely does not belong here amongst the plebeians of Rosencratz. So, what is your purpose in House Amorous?
Lord Edwin, for all of his efforts, has been taken from the streets. With rumors of disappearances, and without his influence, there is no guarantee for the safety, both for the people and for other sorts who would be shunned or outright slaughtered elsewhere. One man of one house cannot make a change, and no one knows the intents of the rest of them.
So what is it that you hope to accomplish?
I am curious as to where House Amorous stands. Was it the Crimson Tax and the unique deal between what your average man and things that are other can thrive, or whether it will fall back under his father's rule and be little more than a city of cattle.
There's something you're not telling me. If you were merely curious whether House Amaros would side with one lord over the other, sending a spy to live amongst our staff would be a very poor way of doing it. No, there must be something else. What game is Radvin playing?
I would not, at least on the part of those concerned, call such a thing a game. Though I understand you all work on a very different timetable. The intentions of individuals are just as important as the call of a whole house.
I see. He's looking for allies in House Amaros, then.
I do not see Radovan here. He's not the one who needs allies, necessarily.
You are wrong. If he is going to do anything to compete against his father, then he would need allies. Especially because, though he is prodigious in his own rights, he cannot compare to Iqbal. I've seen many Vitella of great power in my day, but none sent a shiver down my spine like that man.
You can see where the worry draws from.
Still, House Amaros will not play by Rosenkratz's games. Will not be pulled into a mindless struggle between father and son. If Radvin is truly willing to take what he needs, then he will conquer his father. And if you must know, I am not particularly pleased with this crimson tax. I believe a subtler method could be attained, though. But having Vitella walk around on the streets and act like lords, pompous and spoiled, demanding blood from people on the streets will only brood fear, especially from those who come from out of town, as no markets can be truly self-sustaining by itself.
Not all have Radovans or have charisma, I suppose. Though there are obviously other means. And if there's one better suited to Amos, then I suppose Radovan's connections to much of the citizens can soothe things over. After all, he is no secret to them. It has worked so far.
Yes. I admit, the people's willingness to accept Vitella amongst their kind with little fear is remarkable. He paces across the floor and kind of side-eyes you a bit. Nonetheless, human and Vitella are not so different in our room for air. Though be those. He kind of bites his tongue a little bit. Who will abuse such a system and cause pain and misery for both of our kinds? That will inevitably lead to the humans turning against us all. Your kind has not done well with threats in the past. If wolves were to consume your sheep, you would kill the whole lot. It is the easiest way, after all.
When everything is stronger, or faster, or more inclined to the supernatural. When you have nothing else to lose, people generally take the only option available to them. Not that I find it anything less than brutal and classless. But it is the way of things. It does not mean that it cannot be gradually changed or carefully avoided.
Gradual change. I don't think that's something that belongs in the human vocabulary.
You have been asleep for a very long time.
Well, that has nothing to do about it. I've seen change happen amongst your kind, only to have it be rewritten few generations down the line. Humans are anything but consistent. Makes them dangerous. I'm sorry. I'm sure you are not pleased to be having a political discussion when you
It's
have
one
a
of the
job
more
to be doing.
engaging conversations I've had in a while, so.
Well, nonetheless, I will notify the others of your workings with Radovan. So, if I was you, I'll return to your master and tell him what you found out. But I will not personally kick you out of this house. I believe there is room for compromise. But Radovan has to do this in a much more open fashion, not use spies. With that, he kind of walks over, clicks the lock on the door, and opens it.
So just really. Though he does kind of pause at the door. When you inform them, you might want to inform them of any particular risks. He kind of like gestures with his wrist.
I'm sorry, did I miss it? Did you like cut your wrist or something?
No, he just gestured. So to point like to what he's referring to. Though it should be perfectly obvious since he knows the bloodline.
No. He just smelled that bloodline on you. But he doesn't know you have
Yeah.
poisonous blood. There's just that air about you.
I believe that my condition would be unpalatable.
I'm sorry, but what do you refer?
I am unsure of the effects of the house's blood. But mine comes with its own.
You
It
speak
is-
vaguely.
Yeah, he's obviously kind of like grasping for what words less make him sick to say. It acts as venom more often than not.
A moment of clarity and understanding crosses his face. He looks you over much more closely now. Interesting. you can go.
Good day. My lord. And we'll take his leave. Ugh. Fuck. Now, which of the the fucking deviants is like, nah, I don't give a shit. Come on. Regrets immediately. World's worst Everclear.
We cut to Sebastian,
Ooh.
who's currently working on the floor. Same floor actually as Jacques is, and you've seen Jacques kind of go into Tristaval's office and now leave.
He just makes eye contact with you.
He does not look pleased. Not with Tristaval, not with you, not with himself, not with the atoms of this very house. But he goes. He doesn't have time, and he's not gonna play if there's other ears. Donovan's on this floor. Fuck that.
Yeah.
We'll put that in the later category.
You hear a click behind you as the door opens and Jurila walks out, passing you by, Sebastian, and giving you a slight side eye, but doesn't address you and continues going forward.
He gives polite, like, acknowledgement that they're there, but that's the extent of it. He continues working.
Though the door behind her does not click. Instead, you hear a voice come from behind, and you guys will have to forgive me, but this is a new one.
Sebastian,
A little too roboty.
Yeah.
I have to speak in a certain way. It will go away if I just hit the right notes.
The whisper breathy made it sound better.
Yeah. It just takes a little bit of tuning.
What the fuck filter is this? Like, what preset did you make to, like, to do this?
I messed around with the soundboard. It took some finagling, but I got something rather close.
Look, it's almost there. It's almost there, but like the slight roboting just immersion breaks entirely.
I know. It's one of those things
Yeah.
where I can almost get rid of it if I just talk in just the right way.
It looks so weird starting to do that. Oh, I love this stupid.
It requires a lot of airiness.
Yeah, go
And
get the
little
wig, maybe
bass.
it'll help. Get a method act.
No, I'm good.
Are you sure?
Yes.
I wish I
Suzanne's
could see
right
Devin's
there.
face laughing at you.
I'm just smiling. I'm not laughing at all. It's fine.
Well, I know you don't laugh like aloud half the time, but
We don't need to make this weirder than it is.
ooh, vetoed by God.
Sorry. I want to make this as unawkward as possible. I spent a lot of time trying to get this voice.
There you go.
Am I beautiful?
Always Cameron.
A little bit mysterious as well.
Thank you, dear.
Sorry, I tried.
Well, we're not the only ones you got with that.
I know. I've been working on this in secret.
Now you gotta use the breathier voice. That one's roboting.
It's hard, okay?
I know it is. But if you're gonna do it, then you gotta do it.
Fair enough. Sebastian. Do you mind talking with me for a minute?
Sebastian stands, sets whatever he has, like, puts whatever he has away, and
Yes, I do.
enters.
You enter in through the door, and she leaves it kind of like a crack open. If it's honestly too distracting, I will stop. I put a lot of time and effort into getting the perfect voice, though.
The fucking, like, in the immediate hit with it was distracting, but after this, no, I think it'll be fine.
I think it'll fade out the more of the conversation you do.
If I do it
Exactly.
right, it becomes almost inaudible.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, let me cover up the homophobic chicken if I'm gonna drink.
Fair. So, as you come in, she kind of closes the door and she kind of looks you over. She looks rather nervous, her cheeks flushing a little bit. Before she continues.
I hope this isn't too awkward for you. Being brought in here like this.
My job is to personally serve you. I don't see why this would be awkward.
I know, but still. I mean... You don't find this weird?
Not particularly.
Okay. So, tell me about yourself. I would like to know.
What would you like to know?
Oh, I don't know. I just feel like if you're going to be working with me, that I should know a little bit more about yourself.
Give me a second. I'm going to pull out my dice. I have it in my bag. I have a feeling composure rolls are going to be needed in this conversation.
Depends on how much you plan on lying, but sure.
Not even that. She's asking the most suspicious and paranoid man. I want to know what you're doing before this. Which immediately sets up alarm bells in his head.
Poor Lilia. She just wants to get to know you.
Yeah, but she's doing it with the wrong person.
That's fair.
You knew your mission going in.
You did. Gotta lie.
Listen, at least you didn't get pulled into a dimly lit office with the door locked behind you with the fucking enforcer of the house. You just have to make friends, which is arguably his nightmare too.
Yeah. You know, we're all facing terrifying situations, just from different perspectives.
You
The
guys
two
are the
most
social group.
uncharismatic. No, we're the intelligent group.
Yeah.
Serena by herself is the social group.
We're the intelligent ones, and Serena's the socially intelligent one. That's our
She's
situation.
she's Atlas holding the weight of this party
Yeah.
while we tell her what protein shakes are best for it.
Basically. But kind of like looks. I lived most of my life in Goldar.
Oh? Where's that?
Sebastian gives like, I feel like of all people, Sebastian would know. You'd give very exact directions of where Goldar is, in accordance to Moth. I don't. I just know it's north-ish.
Oh, so what was it like there then?
Cold, and I had to hunt for my food primarily.
Really? I'm sorry if this sounds rude, but you don't look like the type who would go out hunting.
Looks can be deceiving. I am a practiced survivalist in the Goldarian wilderness.
You definitely don't look like it. Sorry. I don't know if that's insulting or not.
There is no offense taken. I am aware that I do not look like a typical hunter.
Well, not especially when you look, so clean. And your suit looks nice.
I assume that is accurate, yes.
I guess. I don't know. It's been a long time since I've seen what mortals wear. Anyway. What do you like to do in your spare time?
Let me look. What are hobbies that I could bring up that she won't make me do?
Or give away your entire backstory.
Well, I enjoy complex battle strategies and fighting stronger people on the beach.
Logic puzzles. Math. He's just the asshole who just, his personality is the fact that he always has a Sudoku, like, puzzle book out at college.
Well, I do enjoy hunting and surviving in the wild. It is engaging and satisfying.
I guess that makes sense. Can I tell you something?
Certainly.
There's something about you. Something I can't quite put my finger on. You are the first person to look at me, and I feel like you're really seeing me. It's hard to explain. Don't get me wrong. It's just, ever since I was young, I have had people call me cute, beautiful, compliment my appearance, the sound of my voice.
At the fourth wall, Cameron, be gentle.
It was the planned line, okay? This is the weird scenario.
You broke him. What's he gonna do now? Play Sebastian? You got him giggly. He's giggly bitch mode now. There he goes. Ripley, murder your father.
This is like the first time Sebastian laughs, and it's just super off-putting.
Someone finally catches him off guard and he breaks composure. He just goes, ha! Just like one time really loud and awkward. That's it.
I'll just keep trying to go on with the dialogue, thank you.
I'm sorry.
Godspeed.
It's okay.
What I'm trying to say is, people have only really gotten to know me for my looks. Well, because they thought I was cute. Really, even my closest friend, Drila, she, there's times where I feel like she's not really my friend. Or at least, not honestly. But when it comes to you, I feel like you are actually looking at me without looking at me, if that makes sense.
I do find it funny. Fail, you immediately called out what I was formulating. I understand your point. You would be surprised the skills and qualities people hold underneath the surface. I am aware of this. People have viewed me in similar ways as well. I see no reason to judge you specifically on your outward appearance when there are things better inside.
It sounds like it would be so sweet from anybody else, but him, it's literally, I value only your uses and functional skills.
It's a very polite and nice way that does suit Sebastian's goal right now in saying, I only care what you can do, and the moment you outdo that use, you're dead to me.
Jock would be proud if he wasn't struggling with like 7 new gray hairs.
Anyway, she looks taken aback as you say this, and she quickly turns away, being unable to compose herself, before turning back, more composed.
I'm gonna ask you a strange question. And feel free not to answer this. Okay?
He nods.
Am I...
She turns away for a moment and just seems to be building up the courage to say this before she tries again.
Am I attractive to you?
Ooh.
She looks at you very expectantly.
Asks the Ace Arrow, like, title character.
Okay, I think I have something. I choose not to answer, not due to polite refusal or politely telling you no, but primarily because that is not a feature I pay attention to or value. What I value is the things people bring, the traits, the skills that you have, the things that make someone them. Outward appearance means very little to me.
She struggles to contain her smile, but you see hints of doubt suddenly cross her mind as well. She turns to the side before addressing you further.
Okay. I see. Well, maybe that's for the best.
I look forward to seeing what these traits are as I work for you.
Oh, I can tell you now it's honestly nothing that impressive or, well, useful.
People devalue their own skills. Others find value in the skills you put down.
Okay. I'm glad we had this talk. It's, I learned a lot, and I look forward to working with you.
Sebastian does a respectful bow. Is there anything else you require of me?
Oh, I know appearance doesn't really mean a whole lot to you, but are you any good with fashion? You see, we're having a dinner tomorrow night at the Rosencratz household. And I'll be going with my mother and sister. I was thinking about going to town and picking something out. Drula was not very interested. She said, no matter what I wear, it'll be cute. But I don't want to be cute. I want to be respectable.
And I take it you would like my help for this.
I mean, if it's not putting you out.
It is my job.
Yeah, I guess. You said how much you love being out in the wilderness, and I don't know how much fashion really applies to that. But if you feel up for the task, then we can find something out together.
Oh, there are two ways I can take this. I have two ways this could go. All right. I just want to voice what I'm thinking because it'll help me decide. First, accept, obviously. That happens for both plans for this. But it's just me. Establish connection, and then I can work from there. Second idea I immediately had. Suggest that I know someone who could also help us with this. Invite Serena, use her insane charisma to immediately get us in better standing in this situation. Serena is the most. Serena will be able to interpret and understand all.
Serena's also someone who's in her position of like, oh man, you'd be cute in anything you wear, Serena voice. Well, thank you, but also,
Yeah, that is another reason. Ooh,
Make a tactics roll.
of course.
fashionable tactics. This is a war.
That
Sebastian
is
must
a
win.
154.
Okay. So it comes. Both plans have their merits and their downsides. You have seemingly, at least in your opinion, have gained her trust as being a unique individual within her circle. This makes her more likely to give you any kind of special information, questions. She's more likely to be open with you, and introducing a third party might make her more reserved.
Yeah, exactly. That was one of the cons I was thinking of.
On the other hand, you know, not painfully, it's not painful for you. You're very self-aware and you realize Serena's talent in this situation. So the balance comes from, is Serena's expertise in breaking into people worth the risk of having her close off and maybe not give you all the information? You say that you think at this current moment, based on your role, that you have a 30% chance of a high level of success if you go alone, and a 60% chance of having a high level of success if you take Serena, but you have a 10% chance outlier that if you can manage to work it, you might be able to increase her rapport even higher than it already is.
Okay.
Even to a manipulative level.
I have an idea. When did, just going back to the conversation, did she say when she would want to do this outing? Today or tomorrow?
It seems like it's being implied that she was planning on doing it either now or soon.
Shit. Because alternatively, my other immediate plan was, if it's, later, I can just get Serena to immediately, lay out a full-on, route to take and just artificially create a situation where Sebastian comes out on top.
Who has the earrings?
Me.
Sebastian.
Sebastian and Anastasia.
Yeah.
You have possibly a fourth option. Anastasia, who is another Vitella, and skilled enough in, the blue blood lifestyle, might have some options, and you guys can psychically communicate.
All right. Good. I was about to ask, is it verbal or psychic? Okay, psychic.
Hey, Anastasia, how do I win over female Vitella?
She's just like, what the fuck is going on at the other house? Hope it's not Velvet.
I need to establish that connection. I can't risk that. I'm willing to do this with you.
Okay. Sorry. Okay, sure. I'm gonna need a little bit to get ready. So, can you meet me out by the front door in 15 minutes?
Certainly.
Okay. I will, hurry up the best I can.
Feel free to take your time as he leaves.
Okay.
And the moment crossing that threshold, it is earring just Anastasia, I require your assistance.
Just out of curiosity, where would I be right about now? Would I be walking out the front door? Am I still in conversation with my mom?
You're getting ready yourself to head into town.
Is everything okay?
Everything is fine, but I believe I can use your assistance in securing our position. And he explains the entire situation to you.
So let me get this straight. You want my advice on fashion?
I want your advice on fulfilling the demands she clearly has. I have no knowledge of fashion or aesthetic. That is not my skill set. That is not something I value. I feel like you would be the best one in this situation. You understand this culture more than I do.
I do. Unfortunately, Vitella have different taste. And unfortunately, I've never met Lilia, nor do I know anything about her. All I've known is her reputation. So, I can try to give the best assumption that I can, but I may have to ask for some details.
I have a very good memory. I can describe to you whatever I wish. He will describe everything all the information he has gathered about Lilia.
Okay,
He will basically transcribe their conversation to you.
Okay. Sebastian, I have to ask you a question.
What is this?
I'm guessing you don't have much experience with working with females in general?
No.
Okay, that answers my question. Alright. Well, I'm about to head into town myself. I will try to give you advice as I go along. You will have to give me details in the moment, if it's a choice between colors. Vitella are usually pale skinned, so... Just ask me when you need to, and I will try to give you my answer.
Of course. I feel like I could do something here.
Oh no!
How willing are you to go off of what you are currently planning today?
Aside from clothes shopping and looking for a blacksmith, I think I'm fine.
Good. I believe I could give you directions to put us in the best possible situation here. You can
Well,
just
that's
be
fair.
playing behind the scenes if you are up to this.
So you want me to sneak around to give you advice on fashion?
To an extent, yes. At least enough that it will not be suspicious. If I require your assistance, I can give you your location, my location. You can walk by and visually understand what I'm describing.
Okay. Now I need to make sure he has a decent stealth.
It's nothing stealthily. It's just like, oh hey, we're at this store. Just walk past and like see us, and
Okay,
then
I have to keep this in mind. You're asking the Vitella with the bright red hair, pale skin, silver eyes, and a group of humans to walk by, so I have to be prepared.
That's fair. That's actually very fair.
And the hair color is kind of connected to House Sorbonne, so it's a little obvious if she notices.
You know what?
No.
That's a fair point.
Lilia and Anastasia have the same hair color.
Never mind.
Coincidentally.
Okay then. Alright, then we should be fine. If all else fails, I got my shadow.
Perfect. When we get into the situation, I will still give you directions. It is imperative that you follow them.
Will I at least be able to get my own shopping done?
Yes.
Because I also have to attend a dinner.
I wonder if it is the same dinner.
What do you mean?
They are also going to a dinner.
When?
Cameron, when? I fucking forgot.
I don't know if she said specifically. It might have been tomorrow night. She might have said though.
I think that's what I think.
She said tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
This is going to be interesting then. I'm supposed to head to the same dinner to represent the house.
Then you could provide reconnaissance for me.
All right. I will do my best.
Appreciate it. Oh, Cameron's preparing for something.
I'm going to test something.
Oh god. Oh, I see what you're doing. Okay.
All right.
Because when I speak
should be fine now.
airily, it will it makes it more illegible. So I'm wondering if I put this on, if it will dull it to the point where it sounds good.
Sorry, I had to go see what was causing our internet to die out, and my wife was watching her favorite white boy play Minecraft.
You know how little that narrows it down?
Yeah, I know. She was probably watching Rambo hurt people again with more streams.
Alright.
Continue.
So, after about 15 minutes or so, you hear Lilia coming down the stairs. As rather than her normal, like, dress, you know, with the frilly dress or whatever, she's wearing something that's a lot more, it's still high nobility, but it's a lot more, you know, travel savvy or travel capable. It's a thinner dress. Again, it looks stunning on her. Not that that's relevant to you, but...
Not in the slightest.
You could hide weapons underneath it.
Oh no, is Sebastian gonna walk out of this wearing a skirt because it's more combat savvy for hiding weapons?
Of all of my characters, if he sees a very clear benefit, he would wear whatever. He just needs a bonus. It's pure like Sebastian is the guy.
He would just wear shorts under it.
Sebastian is the guy in an RPG who wears the most disgusting outfit because it gives him the best stats.
And he would never transmog it because then you would have to use resources on that.
Resources that are better spent elsewhere.
You're disgusting. If I saw you in Guild Wars 2, I'd block you.
That is how I play RPGs as well. At least until I get endgame, then I make my character look good.
Okay. Are you ready?
I am.
I honestly can't tell if this is better or not.
I mean,
It's causing it to peak a little bit less, I would say.
Yeah.
I just think it's the bassy tones. Anyway.
Stop having a voice that fucking projects so much, Cameron.
I can't help it.
I just got a little bit of the I am evil, stop laughing.
I am evil. Stop laughing.
Quentin does that shit all the time.
You guys have to admit, when it works, it does sound like a cute girl voice.
it sounds like a different voice, which is why I'm more comfortable flirtatiously manipulating someone.
Fair enough. In a strange way.
Let him have his layers of separation to feel secure.
Do I need to turn the camera off?
It's fine.
You can put on one of the wigs.
don't look that good in a wig.
But would you rather be a rockstar Viking or white hair?
We just really don't have like a wig for his skin tone.
I have a purple one, but I don't know if that would work for him.
No.
I have one that goes
Anyway.
from platinum into candy corn color.
Anyway. Shall we go?
Yes.
So as you guys head off to town, is the volume on it good, by the way?
Yeah.
Can you
it's
guys
fine.
hear it well? As you guys kind of head off to the town, Anastasia beats you guys by like a whole 15 minutes.
Perfect.
Give me a chance to start browsing for my own clothing before I'm pulled away.
Sebastian is giving like location updates as they're moving into town, so Anastasia can at least stay in a specific radius around him.
Oh, it's like listening to your family's reports.
Someone just
But
scream in the
try.
background to someone's camera?
Yes, I'm pretty sure they just won a really tough game of League.
Oh, okay.
Oh, cringe.
Anyway, so as you guys are looking around, the city is pretty prosperous. They have a lot of what you're looking for. They have couture, places to find clothing, places to find fancy clothing. There is a blacksmith in town. I mean, you guys are in one of the most dangerous regions in the world. Not having a swordsmith or armor smith sounds like a very terrible idea, even though neither of those work in this region for the most part. There's even various small kiosks of gypsy-looking individuals selling, trinkets and stuff to protect you from the various evils of the forest. But as you look around, eventually you find clothing shops that more or less suit your needs. And it begins. Fortunately for you, Sebastian, she does seem to know mostly what looks good or not. But she occasionally asks for your opinion.
In which he both has Anastasia like ready to analyze the situation as well as he's analyzing her to see what her opinions are and judge her based on that. Utilizing insight.
Okay, make an insight.
Basically, insight to check, and then Anastasia is there. If he's just fucking completely off, Anastasia like, no, don't say that.
Also, with Anastasia's help, you get a plus 20.
All right,
Ooh,
that
yeah,
is
that's-
140.
Okay. Unfortunately, it seems like no matter what she shows you, she's looking for your either approval or your honest opinion.
Fuck.
Wear armor so they can't take you down as easily if there's a fight.
Pants are easier to run in, but you can always gird your loins in the event of a fight.
I believe that you should have at least one weapon hidden on you at all times. No.
I didn't think so.
Cameron's face, though.
Suzanne's face.
Anastasia eventually hears that, and Sebastian says, like, oh, hell no.
You hear that he does actually think that. Then Sebastian delivers accordingly. Whatever she seems like the most enthusiastic about, he will at least describe the merits of it. But it's very fun because I also know very little about fashion, so I can method act. But Sebastian helps. I assume Anastasia feeds good lines.
Good thing you have the phone to friend option.
And he does eventually. He does a few times just say like, "What do I say here?"
And Anastasia gives accordingly. Though he can't really see Lilia, so if it's a comparison of color, he can't really look fully to get a good idea. So he gives you more.
You're gonna go window creep?
He's not gonna do that. He's got a reputation to uphold.
Tell her to pick up the other shoes. Doc teleports next. No, you're both idiots. Go for the other ones.
So, you do catch, there's a moment where she seems to have a piece that she particularly wants you to like, that you pick up with your insight. And this is kind of your opportunity to, like, cinch it in and kind of be done with this, as this is the one she seems to like the most, and you feel like if you get a good, if you get a good answer to it, she'll finally pick and be done.
He pretends to be like analyzing it in his way as well. Immediate Anastasia, I need good descriptions for this.
Here's a good question. Where in the store are they located?
Near the changing rooms.
Too far out of view. He pretty much explains to you how to properly respond. More along the lines of state what she's looking for, what she says she's looking for in her outfit, and point out the obvious flaws. Usually, if it's very trim and proper, straight lines, very not defining, it more stands out as a piece on its own. It doesn't accentuate the figure too much. He just pushes you more in that direction, going, the outfit makes the statement, she just adds to it. And that's what is going to give her that more refined appearance. Keep in mind, you are having me pull from very old Emily Post knowledge on how to wear for a look.
Go ahead and make an appraisal check plus 20, please.
I assume appraisal is like a base stat that I don't need. I'm not trained in appraisal.
No, it's not. So
Minus
10.
I'm gonna bend luck on this. I'm gonna use my luck. I rolled an 11.
Okay.
That won't do. Of all the times I need an open roll, please.
Cannot open roll on skills that you are not trained in.
True. I did. Okay, I got an 82, so 72.
Okay.
It's better.
Anastasia is kind of describing the look that you're looking for, but for you, there's a part of your logic brain that just shuts off during this part and just goes, this is all asinine. This is all inane, useless. What does it matter what color it is? There's this sense that, like, it really doesn't matter. And so you pick something that you think she really likes that kind of goes for what she's looking for a little bit. But it's more or less just you finishing than you actually adding to the experience.
Yeah.
I also should mind you both that this is a unique opportunity to collude between the two groups, as when she's changing, it takes a solid like 15 minutes.
It's a shame Jacques hasn't been able to talk to you yet. It's fine. You have the earrings too.
So you guys have some brief opportunities to speak to each other, if that is something you so desire.
Sebastian does gather information. During those moments, just how goes it in your endeavors?
Well, my family are classist and racist against humans.
Unsurprising.
My brother finds humans interesting. Apparently, he's acquired a fan club.
I do not understand what this means.
It means you have a group of people following you everywhere.
It sounds frustrating.
He seems to be enjoying it, but again, he's always had a huge ego. My sister is devoted to her job, and he goes on to explain that the Sorbons are still learning the lay of the city, as so much has changed since they went to Torpor.
Sebastian's sitting there listening. Oh, because he likes Anastasia's company, he does not cut you off. When he's like, I don't need to know the details of your family, but he listens and he notes all this down.
Well, if anything, the fact that the Sorbons don't know the city that well is a good tactic point for Sebastian.
I assume of anyone, Sebastian would find information out of it, but it does take him a little bit of willpower to just be like, give me information that's useful. But now he listens.
Other than that, I've been stuck in the house, pretty much. Not much going on outside of that. I have no clue what's going on at the Rosencratz household, nor do I know anything else.
And I take it this is your first opportunity to leave the household.
Yes. Without having to worry about being followed.
Then it's beneficial that it arrives on this day.
It is. Thankfully, I think the dinner gives us a chance to prep for that. I'm curious as to what this dinner is going to be about.
It seems like it may be a useful way to get more information on the other households and where they stand. It is a shame I will not be there.
No, but I can hide the earring.
Perfect.
I can feed you information if it's useful. Do you want stuff related to just tactics, or do you want stuff connected to what Radovan is doing?
In any other situation, I wouldn't care what Radovan is up to. However, his current well-being and situation is important to know, as this is his endeavor. So,
I will keep you updated, hopefully. I honestly don't know him that well. For all I know, I could do something drastic.
hopefully, he does not play his hand too early.
Let's
However,
hope not.
he seems tactically minded in social and political situations.
Let's hope he keeps that sense and doesn't jump too eagerly. Because as of right now, if he's counting on my support, I have no power in the Amorous household. He would have to sooner gain the side of my brother.
And we do not have any foothold in the Amorous household currently.
You just got there. Makes sense. No foothold's going to be obtained in one night.
I am currently working to at least establish one foothold with Lilia.
And then he starts to ask some curious questions about Lily because he's never had a chance to meet her. He's only heard stories. So he does proceed to ask you minor questions about Lilia.
If he encountered it, he will give you the information.
That's basics. What does her personality seem like? Did she match the rumors in any sense?
He answers to how the best Sebastian can. He has a very logical breakdown of her personality, including a slight psychoanalysis, as well as answering at least some questions about the rumors, but you'd have to provide him with the rumors.
And he provides you with them.
Yeah. He'll let you know if they're true or not.
Almost feel bad for the girl.
How so?
Wondering that your looks are the only thing of value you bring to a family. Makes sense, though. Women, Vitella, are often more protected than most. My sister's kind of an exception to that. But females are pretty much the only thing we can use to guarantee our survival as a race. So
It
they're
seems-
often become the treasures.
It seems like a frustrating position to be put into.
It is, especially when you have no choice. So I can understand why she would sometimes feel lost or trying to seek attention from people that see her as more than just her appearance.
It is a benefit that this is the way she thinks, as it means I can be honest instead of outright lying or speaking of things I do not understand or believe.
Well, if anyone you're going to be able to get a connection with, from the sounds of it, it's most likely going to be her. You just have to play your cards right.
That is my intention.
Ah, she's gotten so big. Now I see what Quentin means when she's about half Pacer's height. Sorry, cat break.
Anyway, as the day goes by and you eventually pick something, you're left to carry it.
Of course.
But you have opportunities to speak with her and to get on her good side, get information. We don't necessarily have to roleplay each and every bit of information you like. It can just be, what are you trying to get out of these interactions with her?
Okay. He will, let's see, there's a few questions he asks. And he's going to, again, just flavoring it. He's basically asking very mundane, doing his best at small talk. Just things like, I'm glad we were able to find something that fit your criteria. I'm certain, agreeing and I'm certain that the message you want to get across will come out in this outfit you've got. And then interspersed in that kind of small talk is questions of so what is the dinner for? Asking at least her views on some of the other households. Basically, I've heard of them, but I've never actually interacted with any of them. And then asking about her opinions on any of those households. Basically, trying in a way to get information on her views on House Rosencratz, but hiding that information out of them. And also very clearly, I want to know what you think, because that's what I value in this situation. Not what not the facts that everyone knows. What you think in your opinions.
Okay. First, make a persuasion roll for me, please.
Oh boy.
As small talk is an art in itself.
Let's just hope she finds that endearing if I fuck this up.
I don't know, would him having the earring and using Anastasia for help count in any way?
Sure, I can give you a plus 20 for that.
Yo, I got an 83 with that. So 83 total.
Okay.
I'm very excited. I'd never expected to roll anything good persuasively with Sebastian.
It's strange. You have this feeling like you can talk with her, and you feel like you're being drawn into the conversation with her.
This is a foreign feeling. What is this? I will need to excise this later.
It really is. Your small talk sounds more or less natural, and it with your questions kind of interspersed in between, she doesn't seem too displeased.
Perfect.
But something strange happens. It's such a bizarre feeling to yourself. In your chest, you feel like this general unease, maybe, but it doesn't feel unpleasant. You feel you feel more alert and more focused at the moment. And your face starts hurting after a bit. Sebastian is happy.
What? Impossible. How can this be? At any point, if he notices this, like looking into like a shop and seeing he's changed his expression at all, he will work to remedy that.
Okay.
If he notices.
Sure. Roll composure.
Smiley bitch time. It's fine. People get hit by Radovan all the time.
I need to pull out the calculator. I need to add some numbers. $258.
Your shutdown's
Okay.
gonna hurt her feelings.
I thought you botched.
Or be a victory.
He is high. It's simply just kind of suppressing it, going back to his very normal tone and
You
expression.
really try. You honestly become aware of your emotions, but the flutteringness in your chest, the general at ease you feel is something you just can't seem to suppress. And it's starting to concern you. Because you feel like you're someone who is very in control of their emotions. And once you've singled this feeling out, you can tell you're being affected by an outside source.
He keeps this in mind. He continues the conversation, doing his best to speak as he currently is, but he stays aware of this outside forces influencing his emotions. He wants to monitor it in his own weird way. In his eyes, like, if I can keep watching it, it can't influence me in a way I don't see.
Roll for me a search.
That's a weird number to add together. 111.
Okay. As you begin to focus in on this feeling and everything like that, you begin to monitor your surroundings. One of the more irritating facts about traveling with Ilya out in public is she draws people's attention. It's inevitable, and this causes a lot of interruptions. Man, woman, child, doesn't matter. People just choose to interact with her. But you notice a peculiarity. Only because you're very hyper aware of this situation. Plus, with the newfound adrenaline coming from Sebastian being happy for literally the first time in his life, there's a range to it. You realize at about 9 meters, people become happier. Their body posture changes. And it seems to be focused on Ilya. as you're looking over it, it doesn't seem to be something like brainwashing. It doesn't seem to be something like they're being influenced to act in a certain way. Even people who do not choose to interact with her suddenly get a pup in their step or a smirk. This is something probably only Sebastian would notice.
Oh yeah, completely. He's the only person like ever that would go, I'm happy, this is wrong. Something's happened here.
And the only one with a high enough composure to really like single out this feeling.
But he keeps monitoring this and continues information gathering.
As you guys are traveling around, again, one of the more irritating parts is the sheer amount of attention that Ilya gets. Unfortunately, not always positive. A young man, probably in his early 20s, mid 20s, somewhere in that range, very, well, Sebastian wouldn't think so, but for everyone else's sake, more on the attractive side, very fit, everything like that, has a lot of high confidence, notices Ilya, and he comes over. And he's like, hey, I noticed you walking around town, and I was just wondering if we could go get something to eat somewhere, or something. Your butler here can come along, of course.
No, I'm fine. We were just doing some chores, and we need to be getting back.
No, please, I insist. It's, well, I honestly gotta say, you're quite stunning, really.
Huh. Thank you. But we really do need to be getting going. Come on, Sebastian.
Of course.
Well, hey, he blocks you off. Come on, at least give me a chance to get to know you a little bit. It doesn't have to be long, 20 minutes getting some coffee.
I will have to ask for you to leave us alone.
It's okay, buddy. It's her choice, not yours.
No, he's right. We really do need to be getting along.
Well, please, just 20 minutes of your time. A coffee. Once you're done, you can go.
Sebastian will indicate just to Lilia to like basically subtly like step around her real quick.
She does
Just
so.
walk in that direction. And as he does so, he moves with her. Though this entire time he is readying for a psychic ability as he's going to utilize ground control. What he's going to do is
Man, he's been waiting for this for so long.
I have. So what he's going to do is anticipate where, as he's already stepped in to block them, he assumes he's going to do it again. And he's going to manipulate the earth around it to when he steps to block again, instead he will just trip on something and fall over and tumble. Just hook his foot, like, just for a split second and, like, make him tumble.
Psychically banana peels a dude.
Basically.
Okay, sure. Go ahead and make... It's going to be a psychic maneuver. So make a psychic... Well, first make your potential roll. Make sure you don't...
If I'm taking extra time, do I get the bonus for it?
Yes, for the... I think it's called focusing.
Yes. I have.
So you have three bonuses of the focus.
Okay. So 3 turns?
Yes.
That is plus 20.
And then because this is a maneuver, you're going to be subtracting 30 from this. So minus 10 overall. Well, potential first, then projection.
And just to be safe, he's gonna add some psychic points to this. I don't want to fuck this up.
Okay.
This needs to work. Oh yeah, I forgot. How much potential do I get if I use projection? Plus 20. He's gonna use 2.
Okay.
$249, which bumps up. 249 bumps up to the 800-foot radius with a damage barrier of 80.
Much more than you need.
Much
Now roll
more.
your projection.
Everything is under his dominion.
I own the city now.
Shit. I rolled a 2 on this.
That's a botch, my friend. Go ahead and roll for me a D100.
Oh, and you already used your luck reroll too.
Yep.
Hey, Alex, if it makes you feel better. Baby.
I rolled a 2 on this.
Okay. So that's not that bad. In fact, that just means that you subtract 2 from what your projection would have been. So what's your projection? Because you got a 2. You negate 2 from 2.
205.
205. Okay. Minus 30 for the maneuver. So 173 or 175. Blah, blah, blah. That's more than enough. Fortunately, you rolled low. You are watching, you're moving around and you're trying not to suddenly give away your intent. You look down, and as he steps, you catch his foot halfway up the step with like just shifting the cobblestone. And as he steps forward to like move, and he's a big guy, he hits the ground hard, and you the cobblestone back into place.
And he indicates for Lilia to keep moving a little quickly this time.
And the guy hits the ground, and as you guys are moving along, you guys seem to lose him, or at least he lost enough face in that moment where he doesn't feel confident to continue pursuing.
Perfect. I'm so happy I got to use this ability.
After about a minute, she turns to you.
What did you do there?
She's like only half looking at you, but you can see in her eye something you never noticed before. She has a very sharp glance to her. An eye that denotes almost combat powers.
All of the upper house are combat trained.
Before I answer that, I am curious. Do you have anything you think I did?
She looks at you for a moment before looking forward.
If it's nothing you want to talk about, we don't have to bring it up.
I am willing. I'm just curious to see what your assumption is. You asked me the question. I assume you have some hypothesis. I'm curious to hear what it is.
Well, I was keeping an eye on that man, as he looked like he was going to cause us problems. But suddenly, I noticed one of the cobblestones lifted up and catched his foot. The way you were focusing, I can't help but think it was something you did.
We all got caught.
Yeah. Well,
And you do realize that you were focusing on this moment, getting really prepped, and you weren't really considering the fact that you were very focused on the moment as something that you would be caught out for. You thought you could be subtle enough with it, and the gentleman doesn't seem to have thought that you had did something.
But someone with probably a fucking yoked notice like hers, yeah. He nods. I simply ask my explanation to be kept between us.
Okay. Sure.
I'm proficient in telekinesis. I can manipulate the things around me, make them move and such.
Like magic?
In a way, though it is sourced from my own willpower and wish. For instance, I request you look to your right.
Okay.
And like as she looks, just proving a point, like if there's just something on the ground, like a rock or stone, he makes it kind of like tumble a little, like down the way, perpendicular to them. Of course, she would probably catch that, but
Oh. Okay.
I know not many people have a positive outlook on people who can do this.
I guess against mortals. But amongst our kind, it's not unheard of.
That's good. Of course, I've only mainly interacted with mortals, so.
That's fair. What made you want to be a butler then? If you can do these amazing things.
While I have these things, I still need income.
I guess that makes sense. Okay. Can I tell you something? To make it even.
Sure.
Despite my appearance, I've been trained by Donovan. So, I'm actually quite proficient at defending myself. I don't want you needlessly getting in the way. I can handle myself.
Of course. I apologize if that was an indication I gave.
No.
I simply wanted to not make you have to commit a scene. I wish to do something subtler. I assumed you would appreciate of that.
You're right. I'm sorry. I just, I don't want something bad to happen because you're trying to defend me. That's all.
Of course. A reasonable concern. I will take this to account if we get put in a situation like that again.
Okay. Let's hurry home. I think we've gotten a lot of attention.
Yes, we have.
Then you guys head back home.
How much? Oh, how much information did I gather from her? If any, usable.
Oh, I'm sorry. I totally got sidetracked before we.
Yeah, we got put to a fun roleplay situation. Like that's about what I expected.
Well, I asked you, and then I asked you for a roll, and then
Yeah, and it happens.
we lost it. Anyway, so general information. One, she seems rather open with you, and so she tells you generally what she feels about most of the houses. When you emphasize her own feelings on the matter, she responds as thus. She feels House Amoros is itself not very well put together. everyone who matters in the house is currently moving in opposite directions, and she herself tries to stay out of the family politics as much as possible. Ever since awakening from their torpor, House Amorous has been in even more of a state of disarray, as the deviants of the house have taken up this new lifestyle of going into town and carousing with mortals. Something they were not as capable of doing before. And not even Donovan nor Tristobal can keep them in check, as they have their own things to tend to as far as the house's needs and such. Her mother is getting particularly old, and within the next century or so, she needs to name off an heir, and this is causing a lot of problems. She doesn't believe her older sister is the best for the role, though, as Bernadine almost stands in opposition of their mother's desires. But she can't really place what Yvonne is thinking either. Victor has always been more or less a mama's boy, in her opinion. But ever since he had been betrothed to Yvonne, he has taken a much more independent stance. Though he is still rather young, and in as far as the house's affairs are concerned. The deviants of the house she's never really liked, all but Drilla anyway, as they all seem to take for granted her mother's wishes of, unity and finding a home for those who don't have a home. And they're constantly causing problems. As far as House Rosencratz is concerned, she's never met Lord Iqbal herself. But she has heard lots of stories, and she's somewhat afraid of him. She views him as almost a tyrannical leader of City Rosencratz. Though she admits she's never actually seen him do anything tyrannical. She heard that Radovan was very quiet, and not a lot was going up about him other than his father had high hopes for him and was constantly pressuring him for success. Beyond that, she doesn't know much more about House Rosencratz. The Sorbonnes, she's somewhat more familiar with. As she's seen them from time to time, and occasionally members of House Sorbonne stop by House Amorous, maybe once every 5 years or so, to check in on them. A little too frequently for some house members' tastes, but with how the deviants act, it's understandable. She is familiar with the eldest son, Laurenteve. And there was talk for a time that the possibility of a betrothal to Laurenteve was in the works. But that was something that was never fully pursued, and House Amorous doesn't have the highest reputation amongst the houses of Rosencratz, and that talk was done before Laurenteve had become the youngest house head of most Vitella families. It's almost absurd for a house head to be anything less than 300 years.
And just under like morbid curiosity for Sebastian, because he absorbs any information about like Ambrose and Rosencratz, because that's pertinent. The other houses, to an extent, not his focus right currently, but he is just that sense of, I'm curious what she thinks about Serban, and is she aware of Anastasia?
She's
Weird
aware of
case.
Anastasia. Anastasia has been told to be a prodigy of the house, and while he's a little younger than she is, he has been known to be following close in his brother's footsteps, though just with fewer accolades. Apparently he's a twin, but she hasn't heard too much about his brother.
Aww. Even in other people's stories, he gets shit on.
This poor boy.
The only thing Trey's known for is not being known.
Yeah.
She has a general good feeling about House Serban, though. Laurenteve, while sometimes arrogant, always left her with a good impression of the family. And the other members seem to be very dutiful and such. House Crow is an interesting one. For a time, she had studied with one of them to see if she had any adeptness for the magic arts. She had studied underneath Evelta Crow. Type that in the chat.
Okay, more vampire names.
Who said on several occasions that she always had some presence about her, that she had some kind of aura that she very vividly described as being something very pleasant and uncharacteristically radiant for a Vitella. But it was determined that she did not have any aptitude for magic whatsoever. Which is a curiosity indeed.
Good information there.
Yeah, going by yourself made it a lot easier to talk with her.
Way easier.
Asking certain questions and doing it pretty good on your persuasion roll gave you lots of good bits of information.
Hell yeah.
Unintentionally or intentionally, I don't know. You guys have also bonded over your unique abilities and talents.
It wasn't intended in the moment, but the moment she mentioned, I was like, I can use this. This is a perfect situation.
And yeah, it's essentially all of that happens in the time before you guys return back to House Amaros. At this point, it's getting very late. Granted, you all still have to do your nighttime affairs. And to be fair, very late for the Vitella is early, more or less. It's their midday. I guess I didn't really describe it. I wasn't really thinking about time, but you were traveling around town at like evening time, like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night. So
The dinner crowd is
Yeah, I didn't picture there was a crowd at like 3 a.m.
yeah. Well, I was imagining midday when I was like, oh wait, no, they don't wake up until like 6 p.m. So
Yeah.
no, it was a nighttime affair. But regardless, Yeah. We cut to Serena. As you've had a very busy day.
Everybody's been gone.
Everyone's been gone, and you have been having a time trying to deal with the various other house members. For the most part, after the whole encounter in the hallway in the day, they've left you alone. With the occasional, can you go get me this? Can you go get me that? There was essentially a time where both Salem and Velvet were constantly sending you to and from locations, trying to one-up each other by trying to get you to do the most for them.
It's alright, when all this is over, Jacques will stab them for you if you want.
She generally has a good demeanor and just hits it with her winning smile as she does the tasks.
Unfortunately, that only makes them want you to do stuff for them more.
These kids need therapy. And not from a human child.
But this does leave you with various opportunities to speak casually with Salem, Velvet, or Erasmus. You do see Runa, but Runa leaves sometime early in the evening. So.
And that was Salem, Velvet, Aramis, and Drula?
No, not Drula.
Okay.
She seems to mostly keep to herself. You know what? It seems like now's a good time to use a bathroom break because I think everyone's been hopping up and going to the bathroom. So what do you think about that? Let's go to the bathroom real quick. 10-minute bathroom break.
All right.
Try to be back 9:05, between 9:05 and 9:10.
It's a long break.
No, it's about 10 minutes.
And there's a lot of more hours until we get to 9.
For you, yes, that's fair. If you're watching and you're enjoying yourself, please go ahead and follow below. Hopefully you guys are enjoying yourself. We'll be back after about a 5 to 10 minute bathroom break. And we're back with more awkward rom-com. I mean, serious tabletop narrative.
Fatella soap opera.
It really is a Vatella soap opera.
As
Oh,
I
yeah,
said,
I've added
fucking knows me.
Amadeus and Yvelta to the notes.
Yep.
I just imagine like a spoof version of of their conversation. It's like Sebastian, like, my power, it's not accepted by the outside world.
I was playing an edgier character, yeah.
Oh, right.
Yes, now it's Serena's chance to get some information. We can either roleplay it or you can make some rolls. However you want to go about doing it. There's a lot of characters to interact with, and if we do absolutely every roleplay, the session will take forever.
I suppose that's fair.
Devin's been
But
waiting
if-
forever.
I mean, that's true. But yeah, it's one of those things just like, if you guys want to have in-character interactions, we can. Or if you guys just want to do rolls, I'm okay with that too.
Well, as she's laboring of these just gruesome tasks that are set before her, with a shining smile and just a positive attitude, she'll try to seed in like asking their opinions on the Crimson Task, or tax rather. Just trying to get a general bead on how each one of them feels about it.
Yeah, I'll have about the same opinion of it, and I'll have Salem answer that, as his attitude towards it will probably paint the picture. Crimson Tax? Yeah, I can't believe that Radovan got the mortals to allow us to feed on them in public like that. And for just a few coin here and there. It's wonderful, really. Going. And there's just nothing like grabbing someone by the arm and promising them a reduction on their taxes and getting to bite them from them. It's a rush of power that we never really had before. Who knew interacting with the mortals would be so beneficial?
So you think Radovan has done a good job here, then?
Well, I mean, I think this Crimson Tax idea is wonderful. But, as it is, something to be wary of, I suppose, I could see it being misused from time to time. But hey, if it does more good than bad, then I would just say it's a net gain for mortals. And I mean, when you really look at it, it's something that can only be abused one way. We can accept the blood and give them a tax break, or hold it over them to do so. But they can't force us to drink blood for these tax breaks. So I don't know if it was his design, but knowing him, it probably was. It creates a more apparent station that we have above them. Granted, Serena, dear, not like we look at you in the same way. You work with us more directly, and I'm sure you make more than those plebeians do.
probably takes that with a grain of salt. um,
As you should.
yeah.
And the other deviants of that small circle, anyway, have more or less the same opinions.
If there's any differences, it's so like minimal that it doesn't really show up at all.
Erasmus is the only one that has a more amiable approach. Because what he was doing before and what he's doing now is not much different. He would pick women out on the streets and would, make love to them and feast while doing so. And some of them were into it. And just the added benefit of this crimson tax just makes it a more appealing offer on the streets. But beyond that, it's more or less business as usual.
Okay. Trying to keep the conversation kind of on the down low a bit. She'll try to play towards their station, if you will. Asking each one of them that many of the city people have noticed that Radovin's been encircled by guards a lot more as of late. And would they know anything about that? Is everything okay?
Starting with Erasmus. I've never really paid attention much to what goes on with the other houses, as long as they don't get in my way. I'm sure he has just stepped on his father's toes. Velvet's point of view. Oh, I heard that he threw his sister away in a cage for years. And that this is the retribution he's earned from his father. Granted, knowing him, he tends to favor Radovin a bit much. So I'm sure it's just going to be a slight slap on the wrist, as it were. I'm sure it's more of a punishment just to be chewed out by Lord Iqbal than anything. I've seen him once or twice before. Ghastly. Salem. I've heard Radovin has been making a lot of changes to the city as a whole and revealing all kinds to the mortals. And I heard that there was at one point an attempt on all the houses to have us all staked, because they think that works, while we were sleeping. I don't really got much more than that, other than that Radovin made a good case and won the peoples over by doing lots of interesting things, curing sicknesses and throwing himself at their feet, doing anything he can to win them over. I don't know. The mortals have very bad memories. To think something only a decade ago and they forget the majority of what happens. Their memories are always unreliable.
Well, do you think his father's in the right to punish him if he's done so much work to allow a more open relationship with the people?
Starting with Salem. Iqbal, if I was to say, is old-fashioned. Emphasis on the old. He has done what all the Lords have done since aeons past. Hidden us in the shadows so that the mortals don't become all the wiser of their betters in the shadows. For fear that we would just be claimed as monsters and rooted out. Granted, he has the right of it, I suppose. There's been more than one house decimated by mortals for the fear. I mean, we're beings too. We need to eat. I'm sure if their sheep or cows or whatever those loud bird things are, were to gain enough intelligence, they would rise up against their overlords. But unlike those bird things, cows, sheep, or what have you, we at least give our livestock homes, jobs, nice living affairs. And hey, due to the multitudinous, most of them get away without even having to pay the real price for what they have today. So, as far as Radovin's punishment is concerned, I would say it's an interesting idea, and I like what he's done. But he is tampering with a system that has been working for years. Velvet's opinion. Oh. After what has done to his sister and everything like that, I think he should be locked away. A good century or so would be more than enough, I would wager. And maybe the boy would have some sense. I'm a big fan of the Crimson Tax. It's something that allows me to hold it over those mortal men tend to be very pompous, and holding such a thing over them seems to be very effective, especially with the fat bourgeois individuals. There's nothing as satisfying as watching a man who thinks he has all the power bend the knee. But as far as Radovin's punishment is concerned, I just hope that his father doesn't let him go away too lightly. Erasmus? Doesn't matter to me. I mean, after all he's done is made my work a little bit easier, but if everything gets undone, then I'll just go back to being a little bit quieter. That's all.
What would you say his sister is like? I mean, there had to have been a reason you locked her up, right?
Erasmus. I've been forbidden from seeing her in person. Don't ask why. Velvet. I'm sure being the Lord's daughter comes with all kinds of benefits, and I've heard that she's a little bit of a princess. I'm sure that her treatment by Radovin was something she was so unaccustomed to, she probably bawled her eyes out for days on end. Salem's opinion. Amelia, I think she has her father's ambition. From the few times I've seen her, she has been very serious despite her young age. Always wanting to make Daddy proud. I'm sure she was not too pleased when Radovin started changing everything her father has done, and that'll probably cause a scuffle between the two. It is hard being the second child and all. I would know before I was kicked out of my house. End of dialogue.
Hmm. All right. For Salem, Kicked out of your house? I'm sorry, my lord. I always just figured you always lived here.
I mean, by mortal standards, I have, I'm sure. It's been more than a few of your generations. But I used to be a part of one of the minor houses. Second son, my brother was ever the traditionalist. The family has done their best to stay in the shadows for years and years and years, and I just got tired of it. I mean, what was I to do? Just sit in my manor for years and years and years, having mortals carted in to be feasted upon, and just... I wasn't going to run the house. I had no decisions to make. So I decided to see what the world is like. Talk with the mortals, you know. Really get to know them. And now I admit, in my younger days, I might have been a little too forceful. And a little too proud and arrogant to understand the repercussions of lording myself over mortals. But hey, I mean... only a few of them died. And when I ran to my house for the protection of our family and to fight off against these vampire hunters as they were after me, I found the house was gone. Left empty. My family had abandoned me. I'm sure they were thinking that if I was found alone, the vampire hunters would think that I was the only one. Deal with me and be gone. Cruel. So I ran. I ran, and I ran, and I ran. Despite our innate superiority to most mortal kind, the forest is still not a good place for anyone to reside within without protection. Fortunately, Lady Bo found me and gave me a home. This is before we came to Rosencratz. Probably a couple decades before. Anyway. Before that, she was living as a caravaneer, wouldn't you know? Or what's it? Something. She lived like those gypsy individual humans do. Don't know why Lord Iqbal wanted her to be a part of a part of his city, but here we are, and we have a nice manor, and a city bustling with life.
Lady Bo sounds like a very kind woman from what I've heard. I haven't got to meet her personally. Though, going back to your past, it sounds like Iqbal kind of wants you to go back to a similar situation. Unless I'm misunderstanding.
Well, Lady Bo is a kind heart, and without her, half of us wouldn't even be here. Or all of us, really. She has a way of keeping a house together, though in her later years, it's been more difficult, I would say. As far as what Lord Iqbal is saying, Rosencratz is a unique city that has been the largest of its kind within Moth. So, we must not be as cautious before as... Well, no offense, but if you humans were in a group of 20 and one goes missing, you would for sure notice. They'd probably be a close friend of yours or family. But if you multiply that by 100, and there's 200 of y'all, one goes missing, sure, some might be sad, but the majority of you will forget about it. And Rosencratz has been that on the multitude.
I don't know if I'd look at it like that. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think you're accurate to a degree. I just think it's missing the first part of it. Well, yes, one missing in a group of 200, maybe not all of them feel that way, but the group of 20 in that 200 would still feel miserable about it.
I mean, yes, but it kind of relates to my earlier comments. We need to eat too. And I think it's a common misconception that the act of draining an individual is not something we do all in one sitting. It's a state where they're left more or less powerless, and they're slept upon for days at a time. And it can satiate us for a month or more, give or take. That, for us, is much safer than constantly getting handouts from individuals. Plus, when they're incapacitated, they're a lot less likely to tell anyone what's going on. Where people were going around having bite marks on them and being anemic, it would raise a lot more suspicion. So, it's a matter of survival for us. So, yes, while I'm sure you mortals would be very upset with your kind, being, well, taken, of course. It's either that or we all die because, well, everyone has a right to live, I suppose.
I believe that to be so. Granted, if I'm understanding you right, you're more referring to if somebody from outside the city who doesn't understand comes and sees this, that they might have a problem with it.
Yes. Which is why maybe going back to the old way of things might be better.
I don't know. The way that the people were acting with Radovan, they seemed rather happy with him, actually. So it's very possible that if you do give the city a chance in this new way, that anybody who would come from the outside, they would be met with a united front of sorts, rather than, as everything's already in the open anyway, if you go back to secret, it's very possible that you kind of lose that sincerity among each other. I don't know. I just think it's something to think about, at the very least.
Uh, you. I'm sorry. You cannot possibly understand. Because you have not the lifespan to experience it. Yes. If every human in the world right now were okay with us, Vitella, that'd be great. How many generations do you think that would last? When we say you're so proliferous and so multitudinous, what we mean is our lifetime versus your lifetime. If we were born at the same time, would know all. Let's say you have 2 children, and they have 2 children, they have 2 children, they have 2 children. I would know several thousand of your great grandchildren. And that's just for one of you. Multiply that by a town of 100, 200. You can see just how much we have to deal with. It's nothing that's... how do you explain this to... He looks at me and doesn't finish the statement. If only 1% of you were evil, then by our standards, there are hundreds of thousands of evil individuals out there for us to deal with. Even 1% of humans is still so vast compared to the number of Vitella. We can't handle it all. So we mitigate, and we mitigate, and we mitigate, and we mitigate. Your chance could mean utter death for us all. Maybe not in your lifetime, or your grandchildren's, but somewhere further and further down the line. We can't even rely on 1% of you being bad.
Well, that's kind of what I mean. It's with the United Front, you would have, if we did say the 1% were evil, you would still have the other 99% that would side with you.
Oh, this is why we hired you. You're such a ray of sunshine. That's what the humans say, right? I can't even rely on 1% of the humans to go up and rise in my defense. Because you haven't seen how they vastly turn on you. I have seen a whole town go from amiable. There were individuals I met in that town who didn't think I was a bad person. But when I was in trouble, they didn't come to defend me. So, you're cute. Keep up the optimism of yours. just be aware that of everyone here, you and your fellow humans in this house have the least likely chance of being brutally murdered in your lifetime.
I now have to contemplate if I play a card or not.
That's always fun.
Get out all three of us.
You're also over the talk, and Serena's good with people in general. You don't speak from a position that he respects all too much.
It's a master-servant relationship, so it's a hard
No,
sell.
you just it's a racial difference.
Okay,
You live
that's
two
also
very
fair.
different lives.
One conversation isn't going to undo 2 centuries of his viewpoint.
It's not only that. You guys just have no way of fully understanding how they live, what their lifestyle is like, and what numbers they have to deal with.
Sure.
It's just physically impossible for you to have the same exact mindset as a Vitella does.
Very well, my lord. All I ask is keep more of an open mind than Iqbal or your brother.
You seem very earnest on this. Are you expecting major change?
It's a sense of unease. Radovan was always a very open individual, and seeing him ushered around by guards is a kind of gives off a foreboding sense, you know?
Oh. Yeah, that makes sense, I suppose. You were probably here when he was going around running amok, as it were. Well, I'll let you know this. Radovan is much safer in the hands of us than he is with you guys. We value our lives, our own and each other's, way more than you humans can understand.
That's fair. But I do make it a prerogative of mine to keep all lives, if I can, at the forefront. I'm not dumb. I do understand that there's things in the world outside of our control, or even inside our control, that will still cause death to happen. But if we can work to limit it as much as we can, I think we would have a better chance together than apart.
He gets a little somber at this, and he says, "We can never be together. Because we are the predators and you are the prey. We will always be a threat to you all. There's no changing that." A man must eat, as you mortals like to say. No. Go Go clean the house or something.
Of course, Lord Sale. And she'll do a curtsy and leave.
You've ruined the man's vibe.
Just put a thought.
So, as day goes to, or sorry, night goes to early morning, I suppose. You guys are eventually let free of your duties to reconvene and talk and contemplate what you'll do tomorrow.
Doc makes it clear there's nothing until they get to the hotel.
Yeah.
Well, when Serena sees them, she's like, "Where have you guys been? I've been so worried." And she like can't hug either of them, which is just the fucking worst.
I mean, technically you can hug Doc, you just shouldn't. He gets uncomfy. It won't kill you.
I'm just glad that you're both safe.
I was under no danger.
We're fine for now. He says much more neutrally than that. We should go. It's late. Early.
Of course. We'll talk at the hotel.
And
So you guys get to the hotel.
yeah.
Yeah.
When they get there, he kind of ushers them to his room and paces after the door is shut for a bit. We have a problem.
Oh,
What happened?
Just the loss of my well, knew something was awry. Said he could smell familiar blood.
That's concerning, depending on the context.
He meant one of the Batala houses. I'm unsure of the exact similarities, but it was enough that he requested. He says requested, but from the steely expression, you can see ordered a conversation.
between all of us.
No, just me. That's where I was for a little bit before I was kept busy elsewhere.
I see. She thinks. But I don't think you've interacted with any of the houses outside of Mr. Rosencratz.
I have not. However, the effect of my condition. He kind of gestures. It's not even just blood, it's just him. Yeah, just vaguely. Smells similar. Perhaps even the same. I'm unsure of the connection between the two, as I said. Regardless, over the course of the conversation, he did ask my purpose. While I endeavored to make it more on our side of the concern for what happened to City Rosencratz, it isn't a stretch for him to have gathered that Radovan is behind our presence in some way. I will not be removed from the house, at least not by him. But the rest of the house, Amaros, will be informed. I'm unsure of the actions of the whole, and what it means for either of you, should they choose to act or inquire further.
Well, I believe the one that we said that we'd probably be most in trouble by is Donovan. But from what you said, Tristoval doesn't seem immediately angry with you, right?
I was a bit distracted. I didn't care for his particular personal opinions of me. Seemed vaguely interested in the proceedings, but disappointed in how Radovan has gone about it. He would prefer a more upfront confrontation between Radovan and his father, and thus Radovan being more open when looking for allies.
Well, that's something.
That does not mean he is one of them. Just his preference. He dislikes how upfront the Crimson Tax is. It can still cause issues.
So, if I'm understanding right, he would like to talk about it, but he's not exactly happy with how things are.
He kind of thinks for a moment before he waves hands. I won't put words in his mouth. That's dangerous to assume. I am unsure his particular take on where it can go, but he does seem interested in the potentials, in some aspect or another. If anything, issues in House Rosencratz means potential changes for Amoros. And considering he is tasked with protecting them, as is Donovan, I'm sure his interest will be in at least keeping informed.
Well, our only problem is that we don't really have a way to get to Radovan. Unless,
Anastasia may be able to.
And Anastasia is attending a dinner between the houses. I'm unsure if Radovan will be there. However, they will be providing me with information through the earrings.
Then you should likewise inform Anastasia of the current update to our own knowledge, in the event he is able to pass it on to Radovan.
Of course.
if he can, that would be a very, very useful information for him, for sure. Radovan's really good at talking to people, at the very least.
Seems the type. As he is sending all that information to Anastasia.
And before they even get to it, he's already tactics rolled and just been like teleprompter reading out in your mind this talk.
So he's like folding his shirt, getting ready for tomorrow.
How does it feel being telepathically linked with Sebastian?
It's interesting. He's not used to having someone in the back of his head.
It's very
But
dry.
he's not against it, but it means he has some form of communication to know that you guys are doing okay and he doesn't
Yeah.
have to run in there.
Sadly, neither one of them is the character to go, so what you thinking about?
No. What's your favorite dessert? What's your favorite sweet? No Dawn. No Dawn moves.
But that aside, there is the matter that you might be in trouble, Jacques.
I'm aware.
I can't say that the deviants are they're kind of a mixed bag in such similar ways. Erasmus, he could go either way. This kind of way is just easier, which might be a way for him to get on our side. Velvet is... she likes the Crimson Tax, but she seems to be for Radovan getting punished harshly for locking up his sister, if you remember that.
You know.
Salem... he doesn't look it, but he's a lot older than I thought he was. We knew he was one of the older deviants of the house, but he's... and I can imagine this is probably true for a lot of them. Well, I can't say that really. What I can say is it seems Salem, and from what we know about Tristaval, have probably been, and honestly Donovan's way of looking too, have been hurt in the past. And so their demeanor isn't impossible to change, I would say. But I admittedly am quite young, so I don't understand living for hundreds of years. I've barely made it 2 decades so far. So from what I understand, I think it's possible, and Salem does like the Crimson Tax, but he's also been scared and hurt enough to where he may very well flip back if that's what's decided by Iqbal. But he does have previous family that were more reserved, and in the past he was very open to new things. So he's a wild card of sorts. He could very well come to Radovan's side, or he could flip over to Iqbal. And that's unfortunately true for all 3 of the deviants in
And the position
different
of-
ways.
The position of the deviants could be issues as well, as in my talks with Lilia. There are very few positive things people view about the deviants. Obvious reasons, of course. But I would believe it's safe to assume that the rest of her older siblings might feel the same.
The issue is not just the Crimson Tax either. It is the fact that the people know. How both are handled is an issue. And while he kind of mostly gestures to Serena, it may be possible to further humanize individuals. There's no guarantee we can sway them beyond short-term cases. Many who would have the biggest pull, I would imagine, are those who are on their own side of things. individuals like Radovan and Anastasia, should they take a stance and be more clear with their own feelings, are likely to be respected more for them. After all, they live just as long. They face just the same risks. We are footnotes, but anything helps, I suppose.
I do understand that mindset, but the more that we get on board, the less that are likely to die in the process. I can't imagine we'll ever shift Ickfall, but if there's enough of the whole that wants to change, he might have to bend to it.
Doc gets a slow, unhappy smile. I'm unsure how it works for Vitala, but the heads of houses and the lords of land are harder to bend than the majority vote.
I do not see us getting out of this situation successful without some sort of bloodbath.
And
I disagree there, at least. There's a reason Radovan has called for aid older than any of them.
I think it's possible. I'm not dumb to not think that it won't be hard. But if we try and we give a very earnest effort, we could very well come out of this situation peacefully. You just have to believe and try your hardest. I'm not saying... Oh, okay. I'm not saying that even if we do give it our all, that we won't fail or we might miss something. But if we give an earnest effort and use everything in our disposal to try and get as much information and just talk with individuals, I think we have a chance here. Even if it's a slim one.
If it were impossible, I do not think that Radovan would ask such a... Well, I suppose we offered in some part. He was kind of just watching you throughout the spiel, the complicated expression, though. Not quite on Sebastian's tier. His composure is well maintained. But that he kind of turns away for a bit, half pacing before he stops again. We'll do as we promised. I am unsure what tomorrow will bring personally. But I did give my word. And I would see us walk away better for it. There are not many who sit down at the table of creatures like Vitala and walk away.
This isn't a particularly great consolation, but by what Salem said, it's very unlikely that we die horrible, painful deaths as staff of the house. Take that with maybe a grain of salt.
Well, he hasn't been informed of my condition yet, so we shall see. Though I will admit, the house full of Vitala is still safer than Dia Santa. Miserable place.
Though, Sebastian, how did your day go?
I believe I have begun to make a connection with Lilia, and I intend to use this connection, as I believe she may hold some sway with some of the other members of House Amoros, primarily her mother.
Oh? Well, that's good. I mean, no offense, I was a little worried about you talking to people. You're kind of, blunt.
Yes, I am.
He says bluntly.
Luckily, it seems that the thing she wishes for people to look past her looks applies, because I put no stock into physical appearance. So that's what makes me perfect.
Doc just rolls his eyes.
And as well, I believe, given some time and possible situations, we may be able to sway her opinion, and then in turn, we might be able to turn House Amoros on our side. Although that is the best case situation. Worst case is that I get caught out, she gets upset because I've lied, and I die.
Did you lie to her?
Yes.
What about?
Just in case, because I have talked with her before. And just in case it happens again, what did you lie about?
For one, the reason I am there. I said because I needed money,
Okay.
which obviously I could not tell her that I'm here under Radovan Rosenkratz's command.
But it's too late, don't know.
Yes.
To be fair, there is more to gain than just on Radovan's part. It is not wholly a lie that you are not here for yourself as well. You have something to gain.
I intend to at least add this, as I can still say that I'm here because I needed the money. And that was my intention in the first place. However, as well, I simply acted as if I was more interested than I really am.
It's just polite. Everybody
Yes.
does.
Oh. Kinda looks back to the time that she saw Lilia. Not too much, I hope.
I have no way in implying, and hopefully she is not view me anymore as a friend. That is it.
He gives you a look up and down. You can see his nose kind of crinkle some.
You should probably be careful, Sebastian.
It is. It's a situation I have begun preparing for.
What situation do you think you're preparing for?
Every situation possible. And then some.
I don't know if you are.
What are you going to do if you make her cry? Do you know how to handle that?
No.
Well, I think you need to understand something. I think she's a little smitten with you. There was a time, I think you were cleaning upstairs where she kind of wandered down the stairs and was looking back up expectantly.
Yes, I remember.
And
He just immediately just like, oh, he did notice that.
I I I'm saying be careful and try not to break her heart if you can.
I will do my best.
Whatever you do, don't play along, though. If you get in too deep, Donovan might just take your head.
That is. Oh, actually, I wouldn't know that information. You would only know that Donovan was staring daggers into your soul.
Yeah. I am aware of the position it puts me in. I will make efforts to make sure that outcome does not happen, regardless of the fact that it threatens my life.
I'm sure I don't need to tell you, considering your more tactical inclinations. But do take care. They are not human. We have no idea their true capacities. Radovan himself is a sharp eye, rather charismatic.
I am already aware that Lilia is martially trained from Donovan.
I mean specifically picking up on manipulations and such. If she has a good view of you, she might be more inclined to misunderstand.
There's also something I noticed, as it seems that Lilia, I'm unsure if it is of her doing or someone else's, has some sort of radius that influences people's mood around her. People around her become happier.
Oh? Like magic?
Some other situation. I found myself in the situation becoming happier, which, of course, I would notice.
I can't imagine you with a smile.
No, I attempted to rectify it immediately.
Just. You are. And coming from me, this is rather unfortunate. A social pariah of an impressive degree.
I have no wish to play the social game.
And unfortunately for you, you are currently in one. Even if you don't enjoy the game, if you want to win, then how to play it. Or keep close to allies that can. And that includes someone who might appear to be on the enemy's side. So he is still hoping we don't have to be enemies.
Hopefully.
He kind of returns to his idle pacing and
Sounds like a good place to end for the evening.
Yeah, I cannot play stoic, uncaring psychic man as this cat fucking rides on me.
she loves you so much, it's precious.
Father, this has been 2 sessions in a row. There's been no violence. What is wrong?
See, I wish Acer would do that cute stuff like during the day. He waits until 4 a.m. to step onto all of my bones and demand attention while I'm trying to sleep.
Let's go ahead and do some experience before we talk, because I'm sure there's some things you guys want to talk about. General interpretation. I'm going to give you guys a pity of 20 experience as I put you all through terrible social situations. Good ideas. None that I can really pick out. At least that I didn't prompt myself. Difficult actions. You guys didn't really try many actions this session, honestly. Oh, you know
just
what?
resisting being happy.
I'll give you 3 experience points for everyone for Sebastian's ability to make small talk. That is truly a monumental task.
Oh, Doc is so glad he wasn't on the other end of that earring.
Made your face palm the entire day.
Yeah.
Anas, you look so tired today. It's nothing. I'm done peopling. You went out for like 5 minutes. What do you mean? I don't want to talk about it.
Actually, that probably would have been way more than 15 minutes because he was there
Well,
for
yeah,
the
yeah.
entire Lilia shopping experience.
No segment closure. No combat awards. The face award goes to Sebastian.
Disgusting.
It's never happened. Now, guys,
This is
finally,
the second time this has happened, actually.
I have played the face character. I've gotten all the taste for it I need in Anima. I think I'm good just for forever.
No, I think you're
Oh, no.
great. In fact, you know, like this is a budding talent, and I'd really like to see how far
No.
you can take it.
No, I
Next
think I've peaked.
phase 2 campaign, you're
think
playing
so.
the face.
No, I'm gonna play someone with like another intelligence dump stack because I think
Devin,
I've
Suzanne, pact. None of us make the face to force him.
cool.
to
I won't either.
Alright,
I'm just not
fair
gonna
enough.
do it. I'm gonna fuck us all over. I'll take the ship down with me. You think I won't?
You don't want this. I've been in that situation
You
before,
think I won't do it?
where the two characters look for the toughest guy in town, and it turns out to be us. Just, I wouldn't advise it.
Utility award. Sebastian. Just your use of your variety of skills that you have at your fingertips.
Hell yeah.
I'd even
Cobblestone clutch.
I'd even throw Anastasia up for that award. Those were very nice boosts to
Oh yeah, completely.
Sebastian's roles.
Sure.
I would be fucking floundering if it wasn't for Anastasia there.
Pity award goes to Jacques for being in the tightest situation, which came with a slight misunderstanding, but it's an understandable misunderstanding. The weapon that you have is actually made of the blood of Victor himself. And your close
Oh.
proximity to it is why he sent
No,
it
I didn't know
out.
that.
Yeah. The weapon wasn't with you. I'm assuming you didn't take a...
No.
Murder knife with you.
He's not trying that. I would
But-
rather spontaneously develop teleport object and rip it towards me than walk into that house armed. That is asking for Donovan to murder me. I don't
And I
want to
don't
get pink
know-
misted.
if it was ever going to come up, but the reason why he sent it on you is because it is made of Victor's blood, which is why it gives the venom bonus, and why it works perfectly for you, who has a similar condition. But it was an understandable misunderstanding, and you wouldn't have known, so...
Yeah, Doc doesn't know that it's made out of fucking Vitala blood.
Beyond that, any player nominations and or kudos?
Serena for the info dump gathering.
Yeah, the the montage flash between all the 3 different deviants that you spoke to, and you had the longest wait until we finally circled around to you.
Unfortunately, some sessions are going to be like that in
Yeah.
this particular campaign. But I
Yeah.
wholeheartedly agree. You did a lot of work and made a lot of effort.
You
And
didn't have to have conversations, but you did, which I appreciate because I like listening to them. As much as I want to dunk Salem through into the trash.
It's also hard. It's really hard to convince people who just live very different lives than you will ever. Lives that you cannot even imagine having.
That was the card I had to hold. It's like, yeah, I understand being targeted by people. It's like magic. But I was like, no, I'm gonna hold on to that one. She didn't realize that it was already that you two have already given it up anyway, but it's fine.
At least Ilya's keeping Sebastian's a secret.
Nope,
True.
everybody's gonna know.
I can't wait for next session, by the way,
Fuck.
Vale. I'm gonna have so much fun with your character next session.
They're gonna make him miserable.
Also, I don't know. Overall, since I was like waiting for like a lot of the session, I was like listening to everybody's like stories and everything. I actually really enjoyed Jock's back and forth with Tristaval, because it seemed like you almost found a common ground, like you were almost there, but just hadn't quite tipped it over. And I overall enjoyed the conversation, honestly.
Mm.
It's nice for Jacques to talk to somebody who has a brain cell. He would just prefer it not be under these conditions at all, ever. And it's still an interesting topic, and he does find the situation there curious.
It must be hard because everyone you guys are speaking to, even the deviants, are all like educated people. They all have a vast amount of education and schooling.
Mm-hmm.
And it's surprisingly intellectual conversations even the most dubious of their members can have.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Also, Sebastian, you're a fucking mess.
Yeah.
What's this? Happiness? Not my fucking body.
Get this out.
I'm dying. He just like sets off the ring, and Doc's like, "Is his like heart failing? What the fuck?"
Oh, like only
Kicks at the
Sebastian.
door. I can't
Oh fuck,
stop
he's having
smiling.
heart palpitations.
Oh, he's having a stroke. His
Only Sebastian would be like, "I'm happy. What is wrong?" And then just fully like,
paranoid breakdown.
dude, separate his mind, like going into it, like have to figure out, find the part of my brain that's happy, isolate it, figure out the source.
His quarantines his happiness.
Yeah.
I do understand that you open rolled on the roll, but I think it would have been great either way if you had like botched or if you open rolled on that one first.
Well, I like that he knows because of two things. One, it's interesting, so something to keep an eye out for. But two, there's always the chance that people wouldn't believe if he said it. He's like, "I was happy. I must be manipulated by somebody," and somebody's like, "Oh, he's developing emotions and in
really
denial."
She has a fucking 9-meter radius. I know the distance.
He's like,
"Why are you
"Oh."
just delusional about it?" No,
And they're
I'm
like,
serious.
whatever you say.
I'm happy because otherwise it would sound like I'm imposing on the player. You're feeling happy right now and you have no choice in the matter. I mean,
Yeah.
I am, but there's a reason for it.
Of course.
I know the reason too, but my character doesn't. It's like, damn it.
But I'm happy I got it, because then it's because I was totally thinking of like, okay, how does Sebastian fucking go with this information? What does he do? How does he change from this? And now it's just like, oh, I'm being influenced. I'm gonna keep an eye on this. I really like that whole situation. It was super fun.
I really enjoyed that situation too. It was gotta take player award for that. I think that you did really well in that session.
It was a really fun one.
I do find it funny. If it was anybody else, it would have been adorable.
Yeah.
Everyone also take 10 experience points as we're trying to keep up with Fight Happy Group
Yeah.
on Sunday.
Yeah, the Fight Happy group that hasn't had combat in the last few sessions.
We'll have combat at least next session.
Yeah.
We've had intriguing, thought-provoking conversations and devil deals.
It's just been a very unfortunate circumstance of you guys avoiding all the combat areas.
I don't need you to remind Finwith. He's grieving.
It's okay, we're going to violence.
Don't worry, guys.
He's gonna enact some violence. He's like, finally.
I mean,
If
I handed
we-
you guys
Okay.
violence on a plate at the end, and you guys are like, "No, we must be responsible."
I fully
mean-
resolved for you guys just going forward with it and like, I'll follow
He
on.
felt bad.
Yeah.
Just because he's like a murder monster on the battlefield, he is a teddy bear first and foremost, and you're like, well, I'd really rather not after we almost got our souls all taken away because they were being curious, fight happy fucks. And it's like, but I'll support you no matter what. And it's like, if anything happens to you, if you die, it's all my fault. Fine. We won't go fight.
I know my like half mile
Sucks.
radar is, letting us bypass combat. And like if it makes it any better, like when I get next level, I'm most likely gonna have hundreds of miles of awareness. Like
Disgusting.
You'd be perfect for an escort to a caravan going into Moth.
yeah.
Except he can't detect undead.
No,
No.
but he can detect anything living coming their direction.
Just perfect
True.
bandit thing of like, there's the bandits, I can sense where they came from. I know where their allies are. Or literally just whenever phase 2 happens, Arthur just looks up in the sky like, I sense a powerful energy coming to Earth.
By the way, that's like an intimidation flex you could totally do. Is just all like, all right, all 5 of you come out of the forest now. It's
Yeah,
like,
I was thinking about it. That's a peak, like it's peak anime ability. Like I mean, literally, fucking, it is
Four
dreadful.
in your backline can stay where they are. Their life essence is low, weak.
I also sense, I understand you have a larger party about a few hundred feet that way.
I can feel your bandit camp that ways. I'd say estimates how far. Would be a shame if something happened to it.
I could easily destroy it with a few
Arthur,
guns.
what's their power level?
That's
Nothing.
like
under 9.
around 9,000, I'd say. I think I made that joke
That's
in
yours.
game. I made that.
You did.
I made that joke in game. You have to.
He just looks over them. So, as a 9,000 to a 10,
Go full fucking like that. Yeah, full as Dragon Ball Z. Like your power level's not even worth it.
I like your voice that you make when you're just making fun of things. There's just something about it that just, I like it when you talk like this.
now you can tell I'm meaning.
Yeah,
It's my mean voice.
I'm making fun of something I don't like, or I do like. There's no safe ground here.
But
Am I happy about it, or am I not? You don't know.
I like to keep a weird sense of ambivalence about it. Huh.
That's a good
Sorry, go ahead.
question for Sebastian. Would he have passed on the information about Lilia to Anastasia so he was aware of it, or would he leave that detail out?
Do you think he cares about people's secrets?
Oh, sorry. Say that again. I was.
Would Sebastian have passed on the information about Lilia's radius, or would he have left that out?
I mean, no, that's important information. He would have dropped no matter what. He did drop in session too. Like that is, it's important. That's important information to him. He's like, this is crucial, horrifying ability. We need to keep in check. Everyone else is like, okay, and she makes you happier. Cool. He's like, no, impossible. No one should be able to manipulate my.
No one can bring me happiness.
I don't want that.
Would have given some small fun moments. Anastasia sitting there like, why do I suddenly feel happier? I'm just standing here.
He finds Titania and he's like, perfect. I'll never feel anything again.
She doesn't give a radius of that though.
But yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this session after being
Super
gone for
fun.
2 weeks.
This is a super fun one.
I hope the female voice wasn't too distracting.
I think the max
After getting
actually cut the edge off, so I think it worked out well.
Unfortunately, it's just a voice I actually have to do something with. I can't just talk into it and be like, cutesy girl. If it's too distracting, I can stop using it though.
It took me a few minutes, but after I got used to it, it's fine. It was just the initial hearing it. I was like completely taken aback.
It's kind of like going from the Japanese sub to the dubbed, and like the voice is fine. It just takes some getting used to, and then once you're used to it, it's like, okay, I can watch this like easy. So you're fun.
But yeah, how did you all enjoy talking to the various houses of or members of House Amoros?
I mean, minus aging a year or two. I enjoy them. They're a bunch of wild characters. Fucking vampire soap opera. In the Hell Forest.
I just hope, because of how stuck they are in their ways and because of the more educated way they look at things, I hope it's not frustrating to have conversations with any of them. They're not easy to convince because they have a certain logic to it that doesn't allow for human perspective.
I mean, it's kind of the thing, because, like, Serena has the best chance of that, at least on skill alone. But even just how they can talk to him, it puts the characters at least in an odd position, because they know there's not much they can do. But, like, that's also their task, is to find allies. So it's not necessarily, oh, convince the vampires to never kill anybody ever again and to be best friends with all of humanity. It's, there's something to gain out of the situation, take Radovan side. Also, please stop disgracing your house. It's giving me, like, sympathy hives. You're lucky that there's not, like, a more active court here, and that you guys are a bunch of fucking isolationists that take 10 years to say one insult. Because otherwise your house would be nothing.
I will say that this whole scenario is meant to be approached from multiple different angles. You guys are supposed to do a variety of things. It's not as simple as, Serena, make a really high persuasion check to persuade them onto our side. They have to be approached. Yeah, they have to be approached from certain angles. You can, if you guys can find their weak spots, if you guys can find what their particular talking points are, you guys will be able to make a case. So don't feel like you guys can't do it because you don't have a high persuasion, or can't do it because they're just not going to acknowledge what you guys say. Each and every one of them have a story that can be listened to and then approached from.
Also, Jacques just like, I mean, if you want to do the crimson tax but have it hands off so that it's not lorded over people, have it anonymously handled through the hospital and just have people do blood donations.
It's a good idea.
Literally just have deliveries. Down with it.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, he'd bring it up if he wasn't busy being like sweating fucking bullets. If it comes up though, he was going to when he was talking with them, mostly as like an insult of like, they live this long but they don't know about public services. Come on.
But they don't, because they are the service. Like, they are the ruling class. They just keep the town in check. That's all they do.
To be fair, a lot's changed since they went snoozing.
I mean, that's true too. This town didn't even have a hospital back when they were alive, so this is one of the interesting things. I just really hope that through the Rosencratz arc, I can show you guys just how deep and intricate the Vitella lore and species is, as far as like what they're doing here. Because I find it interesting. I find what they go through particularly interesting. In the fact that they are just so close to human, but just a step off on a different path. But anyway, so all my hope that you guys just enjoy yourselves and have fun with it.
Yeah, I've been enjoying it.
I do.
I have to perfect the female voice, the Lilia voice.
And I have to prepare to suffer next Wednesday.
Yes, I'm so excited. This session was for Sebastian. Next session's for Jacques.
That's fine. Serena can have a session.
Yeah, totally. I mean, Serena technically has her hands in more cookie jars than anyone else does.
Mm-hmm. Everybody just likes her. They're more likely to let her take a cookie than take her hands.
Probably fair.
Though she is at risk of becoming the cookie.
That is also fair.
She is. which is why everyone in the house is watching out for her still. Godfrey, Donovan, fucking Brenadine even. Just like, please stop harassing that little girl.
It's kind of pathetic.
Oh God, I didn't actually get to tell you guys about my conversation with Brenadine. Oh well. Next session. Next session.
Yeah, Doc just looks at you weird. She's like, why did you answer her? She obviously wasn't asking. I mean, you should subtly try to find a way in an actual opening, but try not to insult the heads of the house.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's going to be it for this session. If you guys have enjoyed and you have not yet done so already, please follow to see more amazing streams like this. We'll be picking up tomorrow at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we are going to be talking about character backgrounds beyond professions. Character backgrounds that involve regions, accents, culture styles. We're going to be talking about a lot of interesting character background stuff that you can add to your character more than I used to be a soldier. I used to be a miner. I used to be this, that, or the other thing. So it's going to be
So what are
good.
you
Everybody
going to
used to
add
be
to
a
your
minor.
minor?
Well, he has the whole anti-governor thing. But, you know.
That is a
Anyway.
joke.
That's fair. Say goodnight, everyone.
Night.
You're copying my thing.
I waved
Suzanne.
I waved at the camera out of habit.
It's off.
Okay, fine.
You're